There are moments in life when silence carries more power than any spoken word. Silence is not emptiness. It is awareness. It is the space where wisdom rises, where the heart speaks more truthfully than the tongue ever could. To understand this, we must learn the art of choosing quietness in the moments that demand it. There are 8 situations where silence becomes not only a shield, but a teacher. Be silent when your emotions are louder than your understanding, when anger shakes your voice or disappointment clouds your perception. The words you release may carry the weight of regret. Silence here is not avoidance, it is protection. It gives time for the storm to pass so that clarity can return. Be silent when you don't know the full story. Many conflicts begin when assumptions rush ahead of truth. When you pause instead of reacting, you allow space for understanding to unfold. Silence reminds you that your perspective is not the whole sky, only a single cloud moving through it. Be silent when someone else is speaking from pain. The world is filled with wounded voices longing to be heard. Sometimes the most compassionate act is not to debate, correct, or defend, but simply to listen. Silence becomes a gentle presence that tells the other heart, I see your suffering, I am here. Be silent when the noise around you is born from ego. Not every argument needs your participation. Not every criticism needs your reply. Some battles only exist because someone wants to be louder. When you choose silence, you step out of the arena and refuse to feed the fire. Be silent when your words may cause unnecessary harm. Speech carries power, and with that power comes responsibility. If what you want to say brings no clarity, no healing, and no wisdom, hold it back. Silence at the right moment can save relationships, preserve dignity, and keep peace alive. Be silent when time is still revealing the truth. Life has a way of exposing what needs to be seen. You do not need to push, force, or prove. Allow the truth to unfold naturally. Silence becomes your confidence that integrity does not need an announcement. Be silent when someone misunderstands you, and explanation only deepens the confusion. There are times when people hear not what you say, but what their mind is prepared to imagine. In such moments, silence is the only language that keeps you centered. It allows you to stay rooted instead of being pulled into the chaos of someone else's perception. Be silent when your soul needs to listen. In a world filled with constant noise, it is easy to lose connection with your inner voice. Silence is the bridge back to yourself. When you sit quietly, you rediscover your breath, your purpose, your truth. The answers you seek do not yet through noise, they rise from stillness. Silence in these 8 situations is not the silence of fear, but the silence of wisdom. It is the quiet strength that keeps the heart steady and the mind clear. When you learn when not to speak, your words begin to carry deeper meaning when you do choose to use them. True power does not shout, it simply knows. And in knowing, it rests in silence. Silence is often misunderstood in a world that celebrates loudness, quick replies, and constant expression. Yet the deepest wisdom rarely shouts. It moves quietly like water shaping stone. Silence is not a sign that you have nothing to say. It is a sign that you are choosing your words with purpose. It means you understand that not every thought deserves a voice, and not every emotion needs to become an action. When you are silent, you create a space between what happens around you and how you respond to it. In that space, clarity grows. You begin to see the situation without the fog of anger, ego, or impatience. Silence becomes a gentle discipline that guides you away from impulsive reactions and toward thoughtful understanding. It protects you from saying what you will regret and allows wisdom to rise before words do. Silence also shows strength because it takes courage to pause when others expect a reaction. It takes self-control to listen when you feel the urge to defend yourself. It takes maturity to allow noise to pass without adding your voice to it. Weakness reacts, strength reflects. In silence, you learn to hear what lies beneath the surface, the intentions of others, the truth of your own feelings, and the meaning behind events. You begin to observe what words often hide. You become more aware, more grounded, more connected to the present moment. Choosing silence does not mean suppressing your voice forever. It means mastering your voice so that when you do speak, your words carry calmness, clarity, and depth. Silence shapes your speech into something meaningful. Wisdom does not rush to be heard. It waits for the right moment. And that quiet patience is a power greater than noise. Silence opens a doorway into a deeper kind of seeing. When you stop speaking, even for a moment, your attention shifts from reacting to observing. You begin to notice the subtle details that are usually drowned out by the noise of your own voice or the rush of conversation. In silence, the true intentions behind someone's words become clearer. Their hesitation, their tone, their body language, these quiet signals reveal far more than the sentences they speak. Often, people hide their fears, their doubts, or their pain behind confident words. Some hide insecurity behind anger, some hide loneliness behind humor, and some hide truth behind unnecessary explanations. When you are silent, you can sense these layers. You can hear what the heart is saying, even when the mouth is trying to say something else. Silence also allows you to observe your own inner world. Without speaking, you notice how your mind reacts, how your emotions shift, and how your intuition whispers guidance. These things are easy to miss when you are busy filling the air with explanations or defenses. Words can become a shield, protecting you from confronting what you truly feel. But silence gently removes that shield and reveals what lies beneath. In silence, you start to understand situations more deeply. You see the intentions behind actions, the motivations behind behavior, and the patterns that repeat themselves. What was hidden becomes visible, not because someone explained it, but because you gave yourself the space to perceive it. This kind of observation is not judgment, it is awareness. It allows you to respond with clarity instead of assumption, with wisdom instead of impulse. Silence uncovers truths that sound can never reveal. Silence creates a gentle space where the heart can soften. When you choose not to react immediately, you give yourself the chance to understand rather than oppose. Instead of rushing to defend your point, prove yourself, or correct someone, pause, and in that pause, compassion begins to grow. Silence lets you see that the person in front of you may be hurting, confused, afraid, or simply expressing life through their own wounds. It helps you recognize that not every harsh word is meant to harm you, and not every disagreement is a personal attack. Sometimes people are speaking from a place they themselves do not fully understand. When you remain silent, you give others the room to release what they are carrying. Your quiet presence becomes a kind of comfort, a safe space where someone can express their emotions without fear of being shut down. You allow them to be seen and heard fully, not just reacted to. This is compassion in its simplest form, letting another person exist without immediately shaping their experience with your own opinions or emotions. Silence also allows compassion toward yourself. When you stop talking, you begin to listen to your own heart. You notice your tension, your triggers, your fatigue. You give yourself the kindness of stillness, which helps you heal and breathe. It is in silence that you realize you don't need to win every argument, respond to every criticism, or fix every misunderstanding. You simply need to be present. Compassion grows in spaces where there is no urgency, no pressure, and no noise. Silence creates that space. It transforms conflict into understanding, distances into connection, and pain into gentleness. In quietness, the heart opens, not because it is forced, but because it finally has room to. Silence strengthens inner discipline because it teaches you to master yourself before you attempt to influence the world around you. When you choose silence, especially in moments when your mind is restless or your emotions are pulling you toward impulsive action, you are practicing control over your inner landscape. You learn that you don't have to say everything you feel, and you don't have to react to everything you hear. This simple act of restraint builds a deep sense of self-governance. In silence, you confront your impulses. You notice how quickly irritation rises, how strongly ego wants to respond, how naturally the tongue wants to defend itself. By pausing, you interrupt these automatic reactions. Over time, this becomes a kind of inner training. Your mind learns patience, your emotions learn stability, and your words begin to carry intention instead of instinct. Silence also teaches you endurance. Holding back a reaction, especially when provoked, is not weakness. It is a quiet form of strength. It requires you to breathe through discomfort, to sit with misunderstanding, and to trust that not every situation needs your immediate participation. This ability to wait, observe, and respond only when necessary is a powerful discipline that shapes your character. Through silence, your focus sharpens. You become more aware of what truly matters and what is simply noise. You waste less energy on arguments, judgments, and unnecessary explanations. Your actions become deliberate rather than scattered. You begin to move through life with steadiness, not rush. Inner discipline is not about controlling the world, it is about controlling yourself. And silence is one of the most effective teachers of that art. It trains the mind, steadies the heart, and strengthens the ability to remain grounded no matter what is happening around you. In silence, you become stronger, not because you speak less, but because you understand more. In the end, silence is not an escape from life, but a way of meeting it with greater clarity, compassion, and strength. When you learn to be silent in the right moments, you begin to see the world with wiser eyes. You hear what is usually hidden. You feel what is usually ignored, and respond from a place that is calm rather than chaotic. Silence becomes a quiet companion that guides you away from unnecessary conflict and toward understanding. It deepens your awareness, protects your peace, and strengthens your character. The power of silence does not lie in the absence of words. It lies in the presence of wisdom. When your voice finally rises, it carries intention, truth, and depth. And when it rests, it creates space for insight, healing, and connection. To choose silence is to choose mastery, presence, and inner harmony. It is a simple act, but one that has the power to transform how you think, how you feel, and how you walk through the world.